Good evening, good evening. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live edition of Carolina Panthers Talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the 2. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. It is Wednesday night, February 15th of 2023. Hope everybody's been having a good week so far, staying safe, staying productive. Hope all is well. So tonight, once again, more Carolina Panthers coaching staff updates. Couple of signings and even some repostings of coaches that will be officially retained. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. Go through some highlights on two of the coaches that we just picked up. Jeff R., welcome to the stream. But yeah, it's gotten quite interesting. Before we get started, be sure to check out Game Beauty. Link is in the description for an impressive line of video game themed makeup and cosmetic products. And if you see something you like, be sure to use that promo code BlitzballChamp, all in caps, and you can get 10% off of your order. So definitely check that out if you're interested. Anyway, so Carolina Panthers brought in two more coaches. They've brought in Parks Frazier for their passing game coordinator, and they brought in Jonathan Cooley as secondary coach. Interesting. Not names that I'm familiar with, but we're going to dive into them. Of course, the articles in the description from Panthers.com, so there's quite a bit to discuss. Jeff R. says, we have an amazing coaching staff so far, top notch. Absolutely. Facts. It's really shaping up to we really got an elite class of coaching. I mean, just across the board. And I think they still have just a few more holes to fill on that coaching staff. Just a few more. But I think they're almost done. But let's go over these recent acquisitions. So, Parks Frazier, 31-year-old Parks Frazier, will be our passing game coordinator. Now, interesting thing is, he did call plays while working under Jeff Saturday this past season. Of course, remember, Frank Wright was fired. In comes Jeff Saturday. He stepped in and was play calling, working with the interim coach at the time, Jeff Saturday. So he was part of Frank Reich's staff with Indianapolis since 2018. He started off as his assistant and then moved up through quality control and assistant quarterbacks coaching. So he'll be joining an offensive staff with Jim Caldwell, Deuce Staley, Josh McCown. Let's dig into them. Let's dig into the 5 things to know about Parks Frazier. This is quite interesting, but worked with Frank Wright from 2018 to 2022. So, 5 facts about Parks Frazier. Number 1, he called plays under Jeff Saturday. It says Frazier called plays for the Colts under interim head coach Jeff Saturday, former center of the Indianapolis Colts, for the last 8 games of the 2022 season. Frazier assumed interim offensive coordinator responsibilities 5 years into his NFL coaching career and 8 years into his coaching career. interesting. I never heard of the guy till now. I never heard of the guy till now. Number 2, first pro coaching opportunity from Frank Reich. Says Frazier connected with Reich through a former teammate and close friend who recommended him as an assistant for Frank Reich's first staff in Indianapolis. Frank Reich hired Frazier in 2018 as assistant to head coach, and he was promoted to offensive quality control coach in 2020. Frazier's responsibilities continued to grow under Reich as he worked as an assistant quarterbacks coach in 2021 before adding pass game specialist to his title in 2022. Number 3, college stops. Frazier's coaching career began in spring of 2015 as a defensive quality control coach at Samford. He transitioned to Middle Tennessee State for the 2015 football season before spending 2 seasons as an offensive graduate assistant and quarterbacks coach at Arkansas State from 2016 to 2017. Prior to coaching, Frazier played quarterback at Murray State from 2012 to 2014, appearing in 7 games with 2 starts. He started his college playing career with a season at Northeast Mississippi Community College, leading the team to the playoffs for the first time in over a decade. Okay, so he's dabbled a little bit, but was a quarterback. Was a quarterback in college and has some coaching experience in college as well. Young guy though, only 31 years old. So he's a young guy. Number 4, which this is an interesting fact. He has actually coached in the East-West Shrine Bowl. After his 3rd season with the Colts and first as offensive quality control coach, Frazier was one of 4 Indianapolis assistants selected to coach in the East-West Shrine Bowl ahead of the 2021 NFL Draft. The game was canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So Frazier helped in virtual training and informational drills with players who participated. So he was supposed to coach this game, but it got canceled due to the pandemic. Okay, that one's kind of contradictory, but anyway, moving on. And number 5, and this is kind of a minor one, Frank Reich officiated his wedding. When Frazier married Caroline Kahn, former Colts.com team reporter who used to hold that position for the Panthers.com, I didn't know that, in 2020, Frank Reich officiated their wedding. Frank Reich is an ordained minister and a former pastor who used to preach in Charlotte and attended seminary in the city. I do remember him mentioning that in his interview, in his welcome interview. But what it sounds like to me is he's probably going to have some sort of role in the play calling, especially if he's the passing game coordinator. I could see that he's probably going to have some sort of impact in play calling. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, considering he has play calling experience, and then you have to also remember Jim Caldwell is going to be assisting as well. So, I mean, with a combination of Frank Reich, Jim Caldwell, Parks Frazier, like with the offense, because remember, Frank Reich is an offensive-minded head coach. So it really makes me wonder, maybe when it comes to, passing plays, he'll have some sort of impact, say so, as passing game coordinator. We'll see. But then again, we have to also remember, we did at one point have a passing game coordinator as offensive coordinator, which ended up being, what's his face? Oh yeah. Mr. Brady, Joe Brady. Yeah. And we saw how that went. But I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Joe Valesco, welcome to the stream. This coaching staff, it's looking sexy. Facts. Facts. Although this seems like an interesting acquisition, but I mean, these are all Frank Wright, for the most part, Frank Wright familiar faces. You know what I mean? Which is understandable, which is totally understandable. But yeah, it does make me wonder how much of an impact he'll have in the play calling. But that's Parks Frazier, but young guy, only 31 years old. So young guy on the staff. Okay, let's switch gears to defense as we have picked up defensive backs, cornerbacks coach, pretty much secondary coach, Jonathan Cooley, which he comes from the Rams after 3 seasons with the Rams, which 2 were spent with Ejiro Evero, our defensive coordinator. And Cooley took over coaching the defensive backs in Los Angeles after Evero left Los Angeles to go coach at Denver. Interesting. Jonathan Cooley. Let's look at the 5 things to know about Jonathan Cooley. All right. Number 1, with Evero on Super Bowl winning staff in Los Angeles with the Rams, Cooley was in his 2nd year as a defensive assistant quality control coach with the Rams when the Rams won a Super Bowl at the end of 2021 season. Cooley worked alongside Evero, the Rams safeties coach, in 2020, and the secondary coach / pass game coordinator in Los Angeles in 2021. The Rams secondary finished that season 3rd in interceptions with 19 and 5th in opponents' passer rating with 83.8 en route to win over the Bengals in Super Bowl 56. Cooley then coached the defensive backs in Los Angeles that season. Ooh. Okay. I'm already liking this. Rams secondary that finished 3rd in interceptions. You got to remember, our secondary, our defense hasn't really had much for takeaways in the past few seasons. You know what I mean? To keep it real with you, Thieves Avenue was really the last era where we used to get takeaways like eating popcorn. But it's been a while. Number 2, moving up with the Rams. It says, after being selected by the NFL for the Bill Walsh Diversity Coaching Fellowship at the end of the 2019 college football season, Cooley helped the Los Angeles defense hold opposing offenses to 16.8 points, 281.9 yards, and 190.7 yards per game in his first year as a defensive assistant quality control coach. While working with the secondary, Cooley coached cornerback Jalen Ramsey, who was named first-team All-Pro in 2020 and 2021 and received a Pro Bowl all 3 years he's worked with Cooley. Cooley had a connection with former Rams assistant and current Chargers coach Brandon Staley from a previous job at Division III John Carroll University. Woo. And of course, Jalen Ramsey is a very, very great defensive back. Let's keep it real. 3 Pro Bowls, 2 first-team All-Pros, and he's got a Super Bowl championship. Yeah. Need I say more? Need I say more? Joe Valesco says, would you rather have Jalen Ramsey or DeAndre Hopkins? Oh, dude, that's easy. Jalen Ramsey. That's easy. That's easy. Yeah, Jalen Ramsey. Let's see. Continuing on. Number 3, in the college ranks. It says Cooley worked his way up through college coaching before 2020, serving as a Division I FBS coach with Akron in 2019 over defensive backs and coaching Kent State secondary in 2018. He found success as the defensive backs coach for the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga in 2017. As a Division I FCS level, Mox led the Southern Conference in total defense and pass defense and ranked second in first downs allowed. Dang. That's what's up. Done some damage in college coaching, it seems. Whew. All right. Number 4. First coaching opportunities. Says Cooley started coaching Division I football as a defensive graduate assistant at Kentucky from 2015 to 2016. He also worked 2 seasons at his alma mater, John Carroll, coaching the secondary for 2 seasons and helping JCU reach the top 5 nationally in the Division III. He coached safeties and served as an equipment manager for Division III's Bluffton University in 2012 after working as defensive backs coach and assistant special teams coordinator with Millikan University in 2011. Huh. Schools I've never even heard of, to be honest with you. I just got to keep it real. And then finally, number 5, playing history in Division III. Cooley played defensive back during his college years at John Carroll, becoming a 4-year letter winner and 3-year starter who finished in the top 10 in career pass breakups for the Blue Streaks. He went to high school at Gahanna-Lincoln in Gahanna, Ohio, playing as a wide receiver and defensive back as his high school team reached their division's regional semifinals in his final 2 seasons. Cooley's alma mater also produced a significant number of prominent NFL figures, including Don Shula, Josh McDaniels, Nick Cesario, and London Fletcher, among many others. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But hey, sounds like somebody that can really coach up our secondary. Let me see how old he is. It doesn't show. Crap. Dang. I wish we could have seen how old he is, but it doesn't show. Joe Valesco said, did the Panthers make a mistake not drafting Justin Fields? No. I mean, it's like I said before, Justin Fields isn't really doing anything. Like, he got there the rookie year, did a little something, and then the following year they got worse. They got worse the following year. So, no. Folks need to let that go. We got to let that go. The whole, we should have gotten Justin Fields. Nah. Because here's the thing. Even in saying that, you're also assuming we would have had success under Matt Rule, under Ben McAdoo, under Joe Brady. Because let's not forget, that's who we had on our squad at the time if we were to draft a Justin Fields. I'm just saying. But like I said, Joe Velasco, no, they didn't make a mistake. Because like I said, he's not doing jack with Chicago right now. And it's been 2 seasons. I mean, of course, there's definitely potential. There's potential there. But, I mean, only one player can do so much. Only one player can do so much. If anything, I think one thing that definitely hurt Justin Fields was, I mean, he got sacked 55 times last season. That's way too much. That is way too much. He got sacked way too much. So, I mean, I'm just saying. But I definitely like this. I definitely like this Jonathan Cooley for sure. Definitely like Jonathan Cooley. What he has listed definitely, I feel, can make an impact on the secondary. Joe Velasco says, did you see the Super Bowl? Yeah, Super Bowl was great. Very close game. It was an awesome game. Could have gone either way. Could have gone either way. I mean, hey, came down to a field goal. Like I said, I originally gave the edge to the Eagles, but I think ultimately, I mean, yeah, a lot of people want to say the hold from James Bradbury did them in, and that's a fair argument. But to be honest, I really feel like the one turnover that happened all game, that Jalen Hurts fumble turn touchdown, I think that's really, if the Eagles could take that back, I think the Eagles win this game. But I think that's the one like major turning point in that game. But like I said, I knew it was going to be a shootout. I mean, both teams are great, number 1 seeds with strong records. I figured it was going to be a shootout. So, like I said, definitely one of the better Super Bowl games in the last few years. And you know, I think that with this being what? Jalen Hurts, what? Third season in, makes the Super Bowl. It's a big deal. And Patrick Mahomes, I mean, like I said, Patrick Mahomes is really chasing the GOATs. Joe Velasco says, is your brother okay? He is an Eagles fan. Oh, yeah. Oh, trust me. My brother's not the type of crazy fan that's going to break TVs and electronics and stuff when his team loses. Nah. No. He's not that extreme. He is definitely not that extreme. So, yeah. But yeah, I watched. I actually watched the game with him. But yeah, he's totally fine. Yeah. Because like I said, it was a really good game. It was a really good game. And now that I think about it, a lot of the folks on the Chiefs squad just got championship rings for the first time. Like, I think this is Juju's first ring. Yeah, this is Juju Smith-Schuster's first ring. Now that I think about it, I think this is Melvin Gordon's first ring as well. Yeah, it actually is. Wow. But yeah, some of the folks are getting rings for the first time on this team. I think Kadarius Toney is another one. Yeah, I think he's another one. Yeah, this is his first ring. Yeah, there's a good handful of Chiefs players getting rings for the first time. Right on. Shoot. Carlos Dunlap. Yeah, Carlos Dunlap. Somebody I thought we would have gotten. Someone I thought we would have gotten, but nah, we let him slip away, and look at him. Ends up winning a title. Did you see the Tubi commercial? Yeah, and I think that got a lot of people, including myself. But yes, I do remember that commercial. Yeah, it got me. It definitely got me. But yeah, Carlos Dunlap, this is his first championship. Who else? Well, yeah, those are just a couple of names that this is their first Super Bowl ring. Dang, that just goes to show you. Oh yeah, Orlando Brown Jr. Yeah, Orlando Brown Jr. Another one. That was another offensive lineman we were looking at getting at one point. And sure enough, look what happened to him. Goes to the Chiefs, wins the Super Bowl. So that's two guys. Carolina was looking at one point, but didn't get them. Kevin McFarland, welcome to the stream. Hello, how good are these new guys? And who do you think our offensive coordinator will be? So, Parks Frazier, passing game coordinator, has some ties to Frank Reich, and he also called plays under Jeff Saturday last season. Young guy, 31 years old. Jonathan Cooley coached the secondary for the Rams when the Rams won Super Bowl. So he's got some experience. As far as offensive coordinator, I have no idea. But you know something? With Parks Frazier joining the squad, being that he has some play calling experience, when you have him plus, offensive-minded head coach and Frank Reich, plus Jim Caldwell, senior assistant that'll be helping on offense, defense, and special teams, there's no telling who the offensive coordinator is going to be right off the bat. There's no telling. It could be a collaborative thing. Also, John Ross got a Super Bowl ring as well. Oh, yeah, good point. This is true. But, yeah, good handful of first-timers, first-time veterans winning Super Bowl. And as far as folks that we're retaining, they did put an article out for folks that we are retaining. Like I said, offensive line coach James Campen. assistant offensive line coach Robert Kugler, and of course, special teams coach Chris Tabor. So the only thing they have on Robert Kugler is he enters his second season with the Panthers in 2023 as assistant offensive line coach. He previously held that same position with the Texans in 2021 and was offensive quality control coach at App State in 2020 after years as a graduate assistant at the University of Washington from 2018 to 2019 and Texas El Paso in 2017. That's all they have on Robert Kugler's biography. But yeah, he's assistant offensive line coach. And word is Eric Bieniemy, I believe, is being interviewed somewhere. I think it was the Commanders or offensive coordinator position, I think I heard recently. I think there was an article about that. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's an article on that. Kevin says, because Jason Kelce might retire, will the Eagles center be a first ballot Hall of Famer? I think easily, because the other 7 first ballot centers are 5-time All-Pro players also. You know what? Let's take a look. Jason Kelce. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Wait, has he never missed a game? Oh, wow. He's never missed a game in the NFL. Games played 176, games started 176. Wow. Wow, he's never been injured? Wow. Praise God. Or wait. Oh, never mind. He had a torn ACL. Oh, okay. I was about to say. Okay. I was like, dang. He's Superman. Okay, but he had a partially torn MCL and ACL. Okay. I was about to say. Let's see. He's a decent player. Agreed. He might be the best center in modern day NFL history. Not going to lie. I mean, that's a good argument. Super Bowl champ, five-time first team All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler, two-time second team All Big East. I mean, shoot. That's a fair argument. That is definitely a fair argument. But I don't know. See, 35 years old. I mean, he's definitely up there in age. And he does have one Super Bowl. He's he is the older of the two Kelce's. He's 35. Travis is 33. So, I mean, I could see maybe Jason possibly retiring, but maybe Travis may keep going a little bit longer, just a little bit longer. How about Travis Kelce? Are his stats good enough for the Hall of Fame? Joking, but Just put Mahomes and Travis in there already. I mean, shoot. I mean, if he were to stop now, I mean, I don't see why not. 2-time Super Bowl champ, four-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowler, made the NFL 2010s All-Decade team, first-team All-Big East, has 7 seasons with 1,000 yards receiving by a tight end. That's a lot. 7 consecutive 1,000 yards receiving seasons by a tight end. Wow. Receiving yards in a season by a tight end with 1,416. Seasons with 100-plus receptions by a tight end, 3. Games with 100-plus yards receiving by a tight end, 35. I mean, 814 receptions. Receiving yards, 10,344 and 69 receiving touchdowns. I mean, honestly, he could probably make it in with that. I mean, he'll probably get to 100 receiving touchdowns if he were to keep playing, and maybe 1,000 catches. If he can keep going just a little bit longer and get 1,000 catches and 100 receiving touchdowns, then he's an automatic lock. He's an automatic lock for sure, 1,000,000% for sure. Joe Valesco says, "Where do you think Aaron Rodgers is going?" I think he's going to the Jets. I don't know. I don't know. What, you don't think he's staying with Green Bay? I can't see him going to the Jets, though. I can't really see him going to the Jets. Nah, I can't see that. Aaron Rodgers is another one that it may be time for him to hang it up eventually. I mean, he's 39. You know, he's approaching rather quick. Mahomes is already in the Hall of Fame. His first year, he had 50 passing touchdowns. I mean, that is a big deal. That is a big deal. That definitely kickstarted it. I'll say that. It kickstarted it. They will lock Tom Brady out of the Hall of Fame, right? Nah. As much scandals and stuff as happened, nah. But yeah. So let's recap. Let's see what we have so far. So Frank Wright, head coach. Chris Tabor, special teams coach, special teams coordinator. Dom Capers, senior defensive assistant. Deuce Staley, assistant head coach and running backs coach. Ajiro Evero, defensive coordinator. James Campen, offensive line coach. Robert Kugler, assistant offensive line coach. Jim Caldwell, senior assistant. Jonathan Cooley, secondary coach. Josh McCown, quarterbacks coach. Parks Frazier, passing game coordinator. Peter Hansen, linebackers coach. That's who we have so far, y'all, on this coaching staff. So let's see. That means we still need to get a wide receivers coach. We still need a tight ends coach. And we still need a defensive line coach and an offensive coordinator. So yeah, I think that's the main four that we still need: offensive coordinator, D-line coach, wide receivers coach, tight end coach. Bam. Kevin says, I still can't believe that we got Foreman and Johnny Heckler. Those two are amazing players for sure. Well, hopefully they'll consider re-signing Foreman. I hope they re-sign him. I really do. I mean, Hecker will be here for a bit, but I really hope we re-sign Foreman, which that might be somebody they consider franchise tagging. I can see them either franchise tagging him or Bradley Bozeman. One of those two. One of those two. Joe Valesco says, imagine we sign Steve Smith for wide receivers coach. I would totally be all in for that. I would totally welcome that. Shoot, I wouldn't hesitate. I would not hesitate. Kevin says, Johnny Heckler really surprised me because of how talented he was through his career. He is up there with Thomas Morstead from the Saints. Oh, yeah, another successful punter. Indeed. But he's with the oh yeah, that's right. He's with the Dolphins now. But he did win the championship with the Saints though, so at least there's that. But yeah, I would totally welcome Steve Smith as wide receivers coach in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. But let's see. Let me take a look and see. Eric Bieniemy is supposed to be being interviewed somewhere. Hold up. Because Eric Bieniemy supposed to be brought in by some team. Hold on, let me see if I can look it up. Yeah, Washington Commanders. I was right. I was right. Washington Commanders are looking to interview him. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Does Eric Bieniemy really want to leave Kansas City for another offensive coordinator job, though? That makes no sense to me. Like, I'm sorry, but if he leaves Kansas City, I would hope he would go somewhere where he could be a head coach. Because I'm sorry, it would not make sense to me to leave somewhere where I have 2 Super Bowls to go join another team under the same position. Shoot. I don't think I'd do that. Kevin says, will most of our team still be together next year? Hassan Reddick leaving really hurt us. True. Can't believe he had 20 sacks this season. Wow. Yeah, that was a really dumb move. That was definitely a really dumb move, us not keeping him. It definitely turned and bit us in the booty. Definitely bit us in the booty. But here's the thing, Kevin. So since you mentioned that, so here's the current list of unrestricted free agents. Check this out, Kevin. Here's the current list of unrestricted free agents. So you got Sam Darnold, you got Cam Irving, you got Michael Jordan, Bradley Bozeman, Rashard Higgins, Andre Roberts, Deonta Foreman, Henry Anderson, Matt Ioannidis, Corey Littleton, Joel Inegbunwe, TJ Carey, Sean Chandler, Justin Burris, JJ Jansen, Eddie Pinheiro. The restricted free agents are Sam Franklin, Miles Hartsfield, and PJ Walker. And then the exclusive rights, well, actually, exclusive rights free agents, they've already been re-signed, which are Stephon Sullivan and Giovanni Ricci. So, I mean, honestly, Kevin, the only folks on this list that I would really consider bringing back are Bradley Bozeman, Deonta Foreman. Pinheiro, we still have Zane Gonzalez under contract for another year. So we don't necessarily have to bring back Pinheiro, but Pinheiro did do well this season. The only time he was a bust was the first Falcons game. But then everywhere else, the rest of the season, he was perfect. So there's that. Kevin says he was a little undersized, but Brian Burns is to somewhat. Frankie Louvu had 7 sacks this year, which was impressive. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what type of contract gets divvied up for an extension for Brian Burns. That'll be very interesting. Kevin says the most surprising throw from last season was the PJ Walker Hail Mary. I almost fell off my couch watching that. Unbelievable. Oh, that was hands down the best play for the Carolina Panthers last season. Like, there's no comparison. That was indeed the best play. Best play of the season. But yeah, as far as the rest of that free agent list, they can be replaced. They can be replaced. Like I said, I think Bradley Bozeman is a must. He is somebody I would consider the franchise tag. Either him or Deonta Foreman. But I think those two, bringing back those two are a must. If they can, bringing back those two are a must. Because like I said, Rashard Higgins, he didn't do jack. And Andre Roberts, he did get hurt. Came back and finished the season, but, take that for what you will. Henry Anderson, he didn't really do too much. Matt Ioannidis, our defensive line was not excellent. Brian Burns did a little something. Derek Brown, he's been improving, but our D-line still needs a lot of work. Kevin says, I actually thought Higgins would do well because his brother is good, but not saying much. How could one brother be so amazing and the next a dud? I think one of the main things is he didn't really get much of a shot in Carolina. I don't know if it's due to injury or due to training camp or practice. I don't know, but he didn't really get much of a shot in Carolina, to be fair. Let's see. Joe Valesco says if Khalil Mack releases, Should the Panthers pick him up? He's going to cost too much. He's going to cost too much. Khalil Mack. Let's look him up. Oh, wait a minute. Joe Velasco, he's under contract until 2025. Yeah, he's under contract to 2025. Yeah, he ain't going anywhere. Because remember, he signed a what was it? A 6-year contract? Yeah, Khalil Mack's not going anywhere. T. Higgins is amazing, and he is okay. Facts. Also, while it's on my mind, let me go ahead and put his name in. Derek Carr. Derek Carr, who did get officially released. So the last contract that Derek Carr had, his average salary was $40,500,000, and he was under a 3-year, $121,500,000 contract. Yeah. To your question the other day about Derek Carr, Joel Velasco, that right there is why we should not go for Derek Carr, because he would be too freaking expensive. He would be too expensive because he's going to want similar pay. His market value per spot track, $37.7 million per year. About a 3-year, $113.37 million deal. Yeah. No thank you. No thank you to Derek Carr. The Panthers need a true second wide receiver. Well, I do agree, the more weapons, the better. But I really feel like we got to address the quarterback situation first. We got to address the quarterback situation. I mean, after all, Joe Velasco, I don't mean to bring this back up, but we did one point make the Super Bowl with some, not so high-level wide receivers. I'm just saying. And the main thing is, we got to get the offense, the play calling, the coaching. Because, like I said, that's something that we've been lacking. The run game has been fine, but Terrace Marshall Jr., he made plays. And that's one guy I really think we need to stop sleeping on him. We need to stop sleeping on Terrace Marshall Jr. Since he's been able to play, he has made plays. We need to stop sleeping on him. We can't turn the light off of him yet. We should not turn the light off of him yet. I'm just saying. Who says he can't grow into a second wide receiver threat? Joe Valesco says, when we made the Super Bowl, we had Superman at quarterback, 2015 MVP, and also have a great defense, and we have Greg Olsen. Yeah, and I mean, what's your point? You're talking about true second wide receiver, and my point is we didn't have that season. That's the point that I'm making. I mean, you just mentioned the defense, which was great. You mentioned Greg Olsen, which was Cam's favorite target, and our MVP quarterback. You didn't say a single word about the wide receivers. Henceforth, why I made my point. I'm just saying. But I'm very focused on seeing how we rectify this quarterback deal. I could also see us picking up a wide receiver, maybe middle to late in the draft. I could see that happening. And I think a big thing with our offensive line doing as good as they did, and with the opportunity to improve, that's going to be a big help. That's going to be a big help. But I would argue and say we had some talent in the receiving core, but just execution and play calling. But Joe said, my point is that was Cam Newton. Whoever we go at quarterback, they need a second wide receiver. You can't necessarily say that for sure that we don't have one, though. I can understand us improving that. That's fine. But you can't necessarily say that when you look back at the season with the passing game. Because you have to also remember, Joe Valesco, how many quarterbacks did we go through this season? And you're talking about a second true wide receiver. Look how many quarterbacks we've gone through. And like you mentioned, Cam Newton, great point, MVP. But look at how many quarterbacks we've gone through this season, and even in previous seasons combined. Like I said, I'm not going to sleep on Terrace Marshall Jr. because we saw what kind of plays that he has been able to make. I could see that as somebody emerging as a number 2. I'm telling you, don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on him. I mean, can't really say so much on a true second when we really didn't have the quarterback. I mean, how would we really know, Joe Valesco, when we went through what, 4 quarterbacks? I'm just saying. Just something to think about. Just something to think about. And then another thing to think about, Joe Valesco, the season before last, we had a number 1 and a number 2. We had a number 1 and a number 2, and they both, actually, no, the season before that, we had a number 1 and a number 2, and they both went over 1,000 yards receiving. And guess what? We still only won 5 games. There's got to be a lot of factors. Got to look at the big picture. We should not have let Curtis Samuel walk. I mean, we kind of got a similar replacement in LaVisca Chenault to a degree, but I would have been fine keeping Curtis Samuel personally. I would have been fine keeping him. But I think the thing with Curtis Samuel, he broke out late because he originally struggled with injury issues. He broke out late. As a matter of fact, how has he been doing? How has Curtis Samuel been doing anyway? I'm curious. 64 catches, 656 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Well, he did play a full season, at least. He did play a full season last season, so at least that counts for something. Well, I guess he's did a little something there with the Commanders. He was their second best receiver, next to Terry McLaurin. So I mean, there's that. But to be honest, like, I don't think there's been a receiver that's been the most impressive this past season other than Justin Jefferson. I'm sorry, 1,800 receiving yards. That's insane. That's insane. But but yeah, looking at like I said, I have hope that Terrace Marshall Jr. will evolve. If he can stay healthy, I think he can evolve. Maybe see what he can do in the slot as well. See what he can do in the slot. But it'll be interesting if they want to look at other targets. Let me since you mentioned DeAndre Hopkins, let me actually look to see how much the dude would cost. And see, and that's the thing. DeAndre Hopkins won't be a free agent until 2025. Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins won't be a free agent until 2025. And then he's got a So in 2023, DeAndre Hopkins will earn a base salary of $19,450,000 while carrying a cap hit of $30,750,000 and a dead cap value of $22,600,000. Yeah, Joe Valesco, I do not think it would be a good idea to go after DeAndre Hopkins. Not to mention one other issue. DeAndre Hopkins is on a no trade clause. So unfortunately, that's out of the question. Whew. So, yeah. That's the only thing with DeAndre Hopkins. Would have been nice. He's only 30. He's only 30 years old. Would have been nice, but we gotta fix the cap situation. We really need to fix the cap situation. And apparently, Carolina Panthers had discussed offensive coaching roles with Dan Orlovsky, analyst for ESPN, but he declined. But tell you what, though, man, just with these remaining few holes to fill. There's a Cat Crave article. Which former players could find their way back into the Panthers in 2023? Let's see. 4 players, according to Cat Crave. Number 1, Greg Van Roten for the offensive line. Was a rotational guy. Number 2, Taylor Heineke. No. No way. No freaking way. No. Number 3, Denzel Perryman. Well, somebody we probably should have kept. And then later on went to the Pro Bowl. So Denzel Perryman, yeah. Number 4, James Bradbury. Bringing back James Bradbury. That's intriguing. That would be intriguing. I mean, made a Pro Bowl with the Giants and just finished playing in a Super Bowl. So, I mean, yeah. But, not bad. Not bad. Also, I just really, really believe that we're going to be very aggressive in this quarterback play. I really do. I really do. And I'm starting to have this feeling that they may potentially trade up for that Bears pick, but it depends on what they give up to do so. Joe Valesco says, will you bring Josh Norman back? I don't know. Would he actually play? Because he did not play much when we brought him on this last season. I don't know, Joe Valesco. Should we? We barely even played him. So I don't know. I don't know. Joe Valesco says yes. Why? We didn't play him much. We didn't play him much. Shoot. Ooh, they got a nice little graphic on the Riot Report Twitter page. Nice little graphic. Frank Wright, head coach at the top. Deuce Staley to the left on assistant head coach. Dom Capers on the right, senior defensive assistant. Right below Frank Wright, Jim Caldwell, senior assistant. To the right, defensive coordinator, Coach Avero. And below Jim Caldwell, there's Chris Tabor, special teams. And then in the lower areas, you got Josh McCown, quarterbacks coach, James Campen, offensive line, Deuce Staley, running backs, Peter Hansen, linebackers, Jonathan Cooley, cornerbacks. Oh, so technically there's 5 roles that are open. So offensive coordinator, wide receivers coach, tight ends coach, defensive line, and actually safeties. There's a safeties coach. We don't have a safeties coach. So that's another thing we'll have to keep an eye out for. Safeties coach. Okay. Wide receiver, tight end, D-line, safety, and offensive coordinator. Dial it up. We gotta take care of those openings. We gotta take care of those for sure. And look at the coaches on this list that have Super Bowl trophies next to them. Deuce Staley with 2, James Campen with 1, Jonathan Cooley with 1, Ejiro Avero with 1, Jim Caldwell with 2, Dom Capers with 1, Frank Wright with 2. So, yeah. One second. Okay. Joe Velasco says he will have a new coaching staff. He can teach the new guys, and he and Shaq Thompson, the only 2015 Super Bowl and the Panthers. Well, that is true. That is true. I'm just wondering because we brought him on and he didn't play much. So just wondering. But nah, Frank Reich and them couldn't possibly make that same mistake again, right? Nah. They couldn't possibly make that same mistake again. But yeah, still got some holes to fill, but definitely I really like where this coaching staff is looking, the way they're looking, and the direction this seems to be going. You know what I mean? But I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited to see how they fill the other holes in the coaching staff. But it just seems to be getting better and better. But I do want to mention a couple of things. So we got some dates coming up. So hold on, we got some dates to keep an eye out for. So what's today? Today's the 15th. The 15th. So okay. So the next upcoming date to look out for, February 28th through March 6th, will be the NFL scouting combine. So starting the end of this month, this is going to be really important. So that's the next big date to look forward to, y'all. Starting February 28th to March 6th, we gotta keep an eye out for the NFL scouting combine. See how the players perform. See how the top prospects look. And then March 7th is the deadline for clubs to designate or franchise or transition players. March 13th through the 15th, which is 3 days before free agency, the clubs are permitted to contact and enter into contract negotiations with agents of players who will become unrestricted free agents. And March 15th, right at 4 p.m., is when the 2023 league year starts. The 2022 player contracts expire, and the clubs can start signing new free agents and making trades. Then March 26th through the 29th, NFL annual meeting. April 3rd, clubs that hired a new coach after the 2022 season can begin off-season workouts. We hired a new coach, so that includes us. April 17th, clubs with returning head coaches can begin off-season workouts. So we get the early start with the off-season workouts on April 3rd. And then, of course, April 27th through the 29th, NFL draft. So, yeah. Some key dates to look forward to, indeed. But anyway, I think that will do it for this session. Like I said, definitely coaching staff has really been ramping up and has been looking really good. And Mike, what's up? Hey, good to see you. What you got for me? I'm holding on. What you got for me? What you got for me? I won't leave you hanging. But yeah, if anybody else has anything else they want to discuss or say, let me know. Let's see. Mike says, Jason, will you do a preview for Battle of the Valley later? It's Friday the 17th, right? Mike, you better look back at my videos. I did that preview 2 days ago. you better look back at my videos. Nah, it's Saturday. It's Saturday. But yes, I will probably now for the Elimination Chamber. I'll probably do that tomorrow, only because, well, I could go ahead and do one. Because I don't think the card is going to change between now and Saturday. I don't think. But yes, I still have to do the preview for Elimination Chamber. Which I only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches. So yeah. So yeah, I still gotta do the preview for Elimination Chamber. I might just, once I cut this stream, I might just go ahead and do it. Sorry, only your football review showed up in my feed. I'm ashamed. Hey, that's why you gotta make sure you click that notification bell if you haven't already. But yeah, if you go in my list of videos, it's there. I uploaded it 2 days ago, so it's there. Hey, Vietnam, what's up? Hey, no worries. I'll go back over it. No worries. You made it. So the hires. So Parks Frazier, passing game coordinator, who has worked with Frank Reich, and he also called plays under Jeff Saturday last season. 31 years old, so he's a young guy. Jonathan Cooley, cornerbacks, defensive backs coach, who coached the defensive backs when the Rams won the Super Bowl. Also coached Jalen Ramsey. So pretty good name. Also has ties to our defensive coordinator, Ajiro Avero. And once again, we're retaining James Campen as offensive line coach. Assistant offensive line coach is Robert Kugler. And, of course, we're keeping special teams Chris Tabor. So, Vietnam. So just to update you. So the only pieces we're missing: offensive coordinator, wide receivers coach, tight ends coach, defensive line coach, and safeties. Those are the only ones that we're missing right now. So still got a little bit more work to do, but it's looking good. They're building a very strong staff indeed. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And we talked a little bit about free agency, but like I said, other than Deontay Foreman and Bradley Bozeman, I can't really think of anybody else on that list to bring back personally. But we'll see. But yeah, the coaching staff is really shaping up nicely. And one of the things that I was saying earlier, Vietnam, is it makes me wonder with the play calling on offense, being that you brought in Parks Frazier, passing game coordinator, who has called plays. Plus, you got Frank Wright, offensive-minded head coach. You got Jim Caldwell, who's a senior assistant, will be helping on offense, defense, and special teams. I'm starting to get the impression that maybe the play calling will be collaborative, even with whoever this offensive coordinator is going to end up being. But it remains to be seen. Bozeman is a must. Yes, absolutely. And like I said, if they have to use the franchise tag on him, I'd have no problem with that. But I don't know. I have a feeling that this could end up being collaborative with the play calling. But we'll see. I just think what's really weird is, I don't know if you heard, but the Washington Commanders are going to be interviewing Eric Bieniemy for their offensive coordinator position. And I'm thinking, what? Why would Eric Bieniemy leave Kansas City if it's not to go after a head coach spot? Like, that makes no sense to me. Vietnam says it might be at first, but I think that whatever works the best for calling plays, they will adjust to it. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. And then also looking at what we have now on the coaching staff, the coaches on the coaching staff with Super Bowls: Jonathan Cooley, 1. Deuce Staley, 2. James Campen, 1. Ajero Avero, 1. Dom Capers, 1. Jim Caldwell, 2. Frank Wright, 2. It's a lot of trophies. It's a lot of experience. Vietnam says, because Andy Reid gets all of the glory for his efforts, he wants to build his own brand. Wouldn't he get to do that, though, if he was head coach? I would think he would have the keys to do that if he was head coach. But I don't know. You may have a point there. You may have a point. I don't know. If it was me, like, if I'm gonna leave Kansas City, it's going to be to pursue a head coaching position, not another offensive coordinator position. But that's just me. But I mean, I think he would have more access to do that if he went somewhere else and became head coach. But that's a fair argument. That's a fair argument. That's a fair argument. But I mean, hey, two Super Bowls under Andy Reid. I mean, shoot. The only other thing that I could think of is maybe if he stayed there long enough, he might be able to be upgraded to head coach when Andy Reid decides to call it quits. But that's wishful thinking. But what I'm really looking forward to, because you have to think, I think it's safe to say we've been pretty aggressive in the coaching staff ramp up with the results that we're seeing. Can you imagine what's going to happen when they start zoning in on the talent, on the players? Like, I'm really, really curious. Because now I'm under the impression that they're going to go hard in the draft and in free agency. And as far as quarterback, it could be the draft and it could be free agency. Because apparently the headline with Derek Carr is the two front runners being the Saints and the Panthers. But the big issue that I pointed out earlier, let me bring it back up. The big issue with Derek Carr is, according to Spot Track, his market value, $37.7 million per year, about a 3-year, $113.37 million deal. Those numbers alone make me want to go, no, thank you. No, thank you. Hey, Mike, what's up? Jason, last wrestling thing, then I can go. No problem. No problem. Can you tell me what is Himeka's reason for retiring? I haven't found any translation yet. As a matter of fact, I can help you with that. I'll give you the link, and then let me give you the link, and then I'll explain. Check that link out. HD subs, I would keep an eye out for. They tend to translate any type of interviews that are in a different language. But let me break it down for you. So she had mentioned that when she started wrestling, when she was 20, she had said that if she had pretty much gotten to year 5 and she had achieved her goals and whatnot, then she would consider retiring. Now, even though she hasn't hit her goals, and this is year 5, she's 25 years old, she feels like she's at a place where she's content and happy. So that's one thing. Number 2, she has come to the conclusion that the best that she'll ever be is a formidable challenger, but not confident that she can carry forward as, like, I guess, a singles champion moniker with that much pressure on her. You know, she's had a few title matches, but hasn't really been able to become a singles champion. And even though she has been able to avoid serious injury, thank God, I think it's just, when it comes down to it, she's content. And she feels like the best that she'll be is, a formidable, good challenger, but not really, I guess, a singles champion, which is kind of a bummer because you have to think, same kind of thing happened with Jungle Kiona. She never became a singles champion in Stardom. So, yeah, it's really unfortunate though. But I wish her the best. Now, do I think she is going to retire for good and never come back? No. I'd say give it a couple of years. I think she'll be back. Give it a couple of years. I think she'll be back. Anyways, but yeah, like I expect the coaching staff, with as aggressive as that's been, that the player personnel, the talent search will be very aggressive as well. Mike says, that's so weird. Such a different mindset from Western wrestling and booking. Just glad it's not from bad injury. She might want to start a family. I don't remember there being any mentions of that, but I think she did mention that she wanted to, I guess, live a normal life. I guess for now. But like I said, if you ask me, I think she's going to pull a Hazuki. Remember when Hazuki retired? And then she later on came back, and look at her now. I think she might pull a Hazuki. I do. I mean, she's only 25 years old. She's still young. And, she's retiring on her own terms. And, I mean, I don't know if she wants to continue taking the bumps or whatnot. But deep down, I think she'll be back. I think the Jumbo Princess will be back. Give about 2, maybe 3 years. I think she'll be back. Yeah. Sure. Or even a Konami. I mean, she's been wrestling sparingly. But yeah, I think the Jumbo Princess will be back. I think she'll be back. Yeah. I think she'll be back. Let's see. So Dan Orlovsky feels that Derek Carr will fit the best with the Carolina Panthers. Here's what Dan Orlovsky said about this, according to PanthersWire.usatoday.com. Dan Orlovsky says, I really think it's the Carolina Panthers. One, Carolina's got a tremendous staff that Frank Reich is putting together. I know everyone is saying Tampa and New Orleans. They're both $50 million plus over the cap. So if you're Derek Carr, do those teams look good right now as far as appealing when it comes to one? I don't know who the play caller is in Tampa. And then 2, what's the team going to look like after you pay me $35-40 million? What is that team then going to look like when it comes to some pieces they'd have to move on from financially? Carolina's really good on defense, young offensive line that I think got a chance to a top 10 unit. DJ Moore, very good. 2 backs, Frank Reich. I just don't know. I just don't know, man. Steve Smith, when it was talked about Derek Carr, this is what Steve Smith had to say. Agent 89. He says, you get Derek Carr today if you're a few players away from pushing, and right now on paper, we're not there. I will have to agree with Steve Smith. I'm going to have to agree with Steve Smith. I'm going to have to agree with him. Like I said, he makes a good point. If we were legit just a quarterback away from contending, okay, sure. But we're not just a quarterback away. Let's keep it real. We're not just a quarterback away. Now, I understand did decent on defense, but we could definitely upgrade on the defense, especially the D-line, a little bit on secondary play, maybe a little bit on linebacker play, but the defense can definitely be upgraded. After all, Frank Reich wants a top 5 defense, which we definitely don't have right now. We definitely don't have. But at the end of the day, we don't want to just compete for the division. We want to compete for a championship. And I really think that's how, with the actions that have been happening so far, it looks like that is where Frank Reich is coming from, David Tepper. Like, because you have to remember, y'all, we've won the division multiple times before. We've even gotten a few NFC championships too. But, you know, we've won the division. I mean, those of us that have rolled with the Carolina Panthers since the beginning knows that we've tasted division titles. But we want to be in a position where we can consistently start competing in the big dance and actually winning the big dance. So, I mean, that's what we got to start thinking about, y'all. I mean, like I said, what we got? 6 division championships. 6. 2 conference championships. How many times have we been in the playoffs? 8. Because remember, 2 of those times were wild cards. Vietnam says, and have the ability to score 50 on any given day. If I remember correctly, the last time Carolina scored 50 points, wasn't it the NFC Championship where we thrashed the Cardinals? Wasn't that the last time we scored 50? I think it is. Hold up. Hold that thought, Vietnam. Hold that thought. When was the last time we scored 50? Oh, that was 49? I could have sworn that was 50. Oh, okay. It was 49? Oh, okay. What? I know there was one time. There had to have been one time. I thought. I could have sworn there was one time we had 50. Hold up. I could have sworn there was one time. What the heck? Dang, I guess there wasn't. Holy crap. But I think well, wow. I don't think we've But here's the thing though. I mean, I think 40 is enough. I mean, 50 is extremely rare. And 50 is not something that happens often. While it's nice, it's not something that happens often. But yeah, I think you're right, Vietnam. I guess we've never scored 50. Yeah, I think 49 is definitely the highest. Actually, I can make this better. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's right. So, actually, the Panthers have scored 50 points. Oh, they actually have. That's right. It was 2002 against the Bengals. Yep, just looked it up. It was December 8th of 2002. Final score was 52-31. Yep. Wow. Oh, yeah. That was probably one of Rodney Pete's best games with us. 21 of 29, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. D. Brown had 1 rushing touchdown. Wesley Walls, Muhsin Muhammad, Steve Smith Sr. each had touchdowns. Muhsin Muhammad had 106 yards receiving. Steve Smith had 144 yards receiving. Oh, I forgot. Steve Smith had 2 punt return touchdowns that game. That's right. He had 2 punt return touchdowns. Yeah. But yeah, December 8th of 2002. Yeah, I had to look that up, so I didn't remember that as well. I didn't know that. I want a little more than that. Well, I mean, like I said, Vietnam, you know how rare that is, though. I mean, 50 points, that's not normal. That's not normal. I mean, 40, I think 40, if you could get 40, I think that's pretty solid. Even if you can get 30, that's pretty solid. But 50 is a little greedy. Is a little greedy. Just a little greedy. I think if we can average 30, at least 30, we definitely are looking good. I think 30 is very safe. Very, very safe. How is it rare? The Steelers, Niners did it to us. Not in the same season. Not in the same season. Dude, 50 points. 50 points. Do you understand how difficult that is to do? There's a reason why you don't see that often. There's a reason you don't see that often. This ain't college football. This the pros. This ain't college football. I mean, maybe if this was Madden, if we were playing Madden, but 50 points. That's not normal. There's a reason that you rarely see that. I mean, if those teams made it look easy, then they would be doing that multiple times a season. But until that happens, I mean, it's impressive, but it's rare. And it's not really realistic, you know? Shoot, if there was a team that had multiple 50-point games in a season, then something is really wrong. Something is really wrong. Because that is not normal. That is not normal. Well, let's see. I'm trying to think. When was I know the last 50, we had a 50-point loss against the Niners. I think it was last season. Was it last season? No. 2020? Wait a minute. No. It was 2019. So it's been a while. It's been a while since we last had a 50-point loss. It was to San Francisco. We lost to them 51-13. And that was 2019. And then the year before that was 2018, which was the loss to the Steelers. Seattle in 2013. Seattle in 2013 and they scored 50 plus twice. Okay, Seattle in 2013. Do you remember which games? Just curious. Cause here's the thing. 2013, so not the same team that they have now. And then 2017, or excuse me, you said 2007. I mean, that was forever ago. That was forever ago. Let's see. Actually, wait. Hold up. Okay, 2012. 2012 Vietnam. So you were off by a year for Seattle, 2012. 2012. But close, very close. So 2012 for Seattle. And then New England, I think you said 07. Which was over Washington and Buffalo. So Washington and Buffalo was who the let's see, Washington and Buffalo for the Patriots. So Washington, I'm curious. Washington. Okay, Washington actually, wow. Washington finished 9-7 and made it to the postseason. Okay. And then Buffalo. finished 7-9 that season. So, I mean, 50 on a good team and 50 on a, I guess, average team. So 50 on a good team, 50 on an average team from the Patriots. Let me go back to Seattle. (2012). So it was 58 against Arizona and 50 on Buffalo. So Arizona and Buffalo in 2012. Okay. Arizona in 2012. Well, I mean, in 2012, Arizona finished 5-11. And then Buffalo Buffalo 6-10. So I mean, when Seattle put up the 50 twice, it was against two bad teams. One was 6-10, and one was 5-11. So I mean, I'll give credit to the Patriots one because I mean they did it to a 9-7 Washington team, but the two Seattle victories, while that is impressive, it was against two teams that were under 500, to be fair. But, 2012 and 2007, it's a long time ago, So, while 50 is nice, like, to consistently score 50 in the NFL is difficult. And while it's nice, to have that sort of expectation is kind of extreme. It's kind of extreme. And it's more Madden numbers. It's more Madden numbers than anything else. But if we happen to pull that off, I would be impressed. I'd be very impressed. I'll take it. But we'll see what happens. Oh, there was there was a comment you made that I missed. Not that we've had a 5,000-yard passer or 6 passing touchdowns in one game. Kansas City just scored 50 last season, so did the Eagles. Patrick Mahomes, did it twice. But yeah, I mean, but then again, we got to look at, Patrick Mahomes versus the quarterbacks that we've had. I mean, like I said, we haven't really had an elite quarterback since Cam. So, yeah, it's been a hot minute for Carolina. That's for sure. It's been a hot minute. But hopefully the fortunes will turn around. Oh, speaking of that Bengals game where we put 52 up, I mean, the Panthers finished the season 5-8, and the Bengals finished the season 1-12. So, I mean, that was a victory over a 1-12 team. So, yeah. Or at the time of the season, we were 5-8, they were 1-12. So, yeah, just putting into perspective. But anyway, I think that'll do it for tonight. What the heck? Now I'm getting all sorts of weird notifications. Anyway, but yeah, I think that'll do it for tonight. Wow, we covered quite a bit. This was good. This was a good session, y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming out tonight. This was good. This was juicy. This was juicy. But I'm gonna finish this coffee and I'm gonna exactly. Yeah. Oh, but trust me, Vietnam, if we pull that off, I'll take it. I'll take it. But yeah, I think if we can average 30 from our offense, I think that would be great. And I think if we can get some takeaways on defense, that'll really cut into that as well. We struggle to score 21 versus bad teams. Yeah, give or take. But I mean, I will agree with you in that we have definitely, especially in the past few seasons, we've definitely lost to teams that we had no business losing to. We definitely have lost to teams we had no business losing to. Like this last season, like I really feel like we should have beat the Browns. We definitely should have beaten the Cardinals. That was freaking ridiculous. While we almost beat the we almost beat the Giants, but then again, the Giants ended up making the playoffs and they had the coach of the year. So, But I feel like the Browns, the Cardinals, the Falcons, the Bucks, the Steelers, I really feel like we should have beat the Steelers. This should have been the year, but yeah. Just to have the propensity to score 50. That would be nice, but realistically, we didn't have the offense to be able to do that. We had a one-dimensional offense. There is no way we were going to put up 50. I mean, it was very impressive that we put up 37 against the Bucks, or not the Bucks, the Lions. But yeah, and we did put up 34 against the Falcons, but we definitely didn't have an offense built to put up that much points, especially one-dimensional with a lack of a passing game. So, but I think that'll be fixed. I definitely think that'll be fixed, though. I'm hopeful that'll be fixed. I'm hopeful that it will be fixed. Because, I mean, as shocking as it is to say, we were in playoff contention for a bit, even with the roster woes and the struggles, which, you can't say that for every team, that's for sure. But, yeah. But then, who knows, y'all? Could be a blessing in disguise. Because look at what we have now and what we could build to now. Remains to be seen, but I'm hopeful. I'm definitely hopeful. But this is juicy. Y'all are bringing the heat. I love it. But I'm going to let y'all go for now. Keep pounding no matter what. We're going to get through this. Oh, I'm going to say this as well before I let y'all go. I'm going to say this and I'm going to be as honest as possible. Before we even get to this point of potential success, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know I don't want to see a single bandwagon fan. Any bandwagon fans that are watching this or might watch this later, bandwagon fans specifically, go right on ahead and excuse yourself before this upcoming season even starts. Because there's been many out there that want to jump on a bandwagon team when they're doing well. This ain't the place for it. So any oncoming bandwagoners, y'all might as well go ahead and turn around and walk away. Leave us Keep Pounding Nation alone. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the links that I posted as well as the Game Beauty link. Don't forget, if you want to make a purchase, Blitzball Champ promo code, 10% off of your order. Thank y'all so much for coming through. I love you. I love each and every one of y'all. Blessings to all of y'all. Anyway, for another Carolina Panthers talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the 2. It's good. I'm your host, Jason Ingram. Have a blessed day tomorrow, and I will see y'all in the next live stream. Toodaloodles.